Welcome to Reflections and to Andrew White once again. Now, we've tackled some difficult subjects, Andrew, between us over the years. Maybe this is the most difficult. We're going to start talking about Palestine, the Jewish problem, Israel, Hamas, and it's a mess. It doesn't seem to be able to resolve itself. Now, you have been involved in this for decades. You've got a patience of a saint because nobody wants to give anything. Even Netanyahu, who's a skilled operator, has come in for some diabolical criticisms. Maybe they're justified. Lots going on, Andrew. And as usual, it's the innocents that suffer.
And really sad thing is that Gaza, which is in the Bible, it's Gaza, but to us is Gaza, was the traditional land of the Philistines. And the most important biblical thing which happened there was Samson. He pulled down the temple. He stretched out his arms, and he was led there by Delilah. And so Gaza is always seen in the Bible as the land of the bad people. And Gaza today is still the land of the bad people. I have spent many years going in and out of Gaza. It's always difficult. There is no easy approach. I usually go by land from Jerusalem, and to get to Gaza takes about 2.5 hours. And it is a seaside town, and one of the nearest places to it is actually Crete. It is a land which is mentioned much in the Bible, both in the Hebrew scriptures and even once in the New Testament. Philip went to Gaza. But now what we're seeing is that Gaza has been manipulated by the evil forces, as it always was in the past. The problem is when Gaza is being confused with the broader Palestinian problem. The problems which used to be headed up by the Palestinian Authority under Arafat, the Palestinian National Authority, was all taken over a decade ago by Islamic Jihad, or the Brotherhood, Islamic Brotherhood, which in reality is Hamas. And Hamas is a collection of people who have suffered severely from the time of the Nakba, when the Palestinians lost their land, through to recent invasions, and the most recent being from Israel now. Because on the 7th of October, when Israel got so terribly attacked, the rockets were coming from Gaza. And there it is that the people of Gaza are waging war on the people of the Promised Land.
Now let's define, can we, the actual people involved here. That awful day of the 7th of October last year, lots of people were killed, raped, kidnapped, and no excuses. Israel had to take some action, which they did. And they qualified it by saying, well, we are going to send leaflets to the innocent there to get out of a particular town or city before we bomb it and take out, if we can, Hamas. They have admitted every intention. It's in the Quran that they want to see the end of every Jew. They will kill every Jew.
Well, their big paragraph is from the river to the sea. So from the Jordan River right through to the Mediterranean Sea, they want to possess it all. And I have to be honest with you, there's a lot of talk even from America now of how we need to initiate the two-state solution, having a proper Palestinian Authority and a proper Israeli government, Israeli nation. All the time people think that that is what I've been working for. But in reality, I do not think there is ever going to be a real two-state solution.
Why?
I don't think there will be any solution to this problem until Yeshua, Jesus, returns. And he will sort out the Israeli-Palestinian problem. But the Palestinian people are also people of the Promised Land. They may have lived in difficult parts of it, like Gaza, but throughout the whole of the West Bank and Gaza, we had the Palestinian community. And then we have these right-wing Israeli settlers setting up settlements on land which was never post-67 Israel owned, but was always the land of the opposition. And when the war happened on the 7th of October, Gaza went in and kidnapped everybody from the bordering kibbutz. There are still over 100 hostages that have not been returned.
And we don't know whether they're alive or they're dead.
We don't. We know that the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, has managed to find the place where several of them lived, including in their forbidden tunnels. But nobody knows exactly who is alive, who isn't alive, and what the solution is going to be. Obviously, this is an issue the whole world is praying about. But the terrible thing is that whenever we see an onslaught against the people of Israel, it's never long before the other side attacks Israel. And now they're attacking Israel, saying that this is worse than a pogrom. This is a genocide. This is slaughtering the innocent. Yes, there are innocent being injured there. Gaza was a desolate, difficult place, but it wasn't like a third world war zone. It is now. I can remember going to have dinner with one of the big leaders of Gaza, Jamal Abdul Ali. And the really strange thing was that in his saloon, his big living room, he had a full-size car, a Cadillac. So if he needed to, he could just get into his armored car and drive out. So that is the kind of thing which goes on in Gaza in a good day. And the Anglican Church, which I am part of, has also had a hospital there, and the Baptists have had a hospital. But now all of these organizations are at risk. And there's no proper way in for relief, and now there's talk about building this artificial bridge which will go from the sea into Gaza to take relief, when ultimately relief to Gaza should actually come in and through Israel.
Well, it's not getting to the places it should be getting because allegedly it's being stolen, even shipped abroad. Certainly the money is to service pads by the leaders of Hamas that have gone to the Middle East.
Well, it certainly doesn't work by dropping things from the sky, because the wrong people always get hold of them. So it is a really difficult situation. We do need to make humanitarian corridors of access, and proper medical treatment needs to be delivered.
Well, the talk at the moment, Andrew, is that islands in the south of Gaza are being created like safety, refuge, cities of refuge, and the innocent Palestinians can go and take refuge there and get everything they want. Now, that is been put forward by Israel literally yesterday.
Go in and they want to clear out the Rafah refugee camp. And the problem is, there's no way you can go in and do that without literally murdering hundreds of innocent people. You will get some of the bad guys, but most of them are not in the places of safety.
Well, the anomaly in much of this is the whole world seems to be on the side of the Palestinians. Now, it's
They
hard
have
to
turned
understand that.
very quickly, haven't they? One day they were on the side of the Israelis, and then as soon as the Israelis start responding, then they're suddenly on the side of the other people.
Well, what about the UN in all this? They have changed radically. They're extreme left, and I mean extreme, in many of their departments.
The UN Refugee Agency is one of the most extreme left-wing bodies, and it's quite clear from evidence that there were people from UNRWA who have been helping Hamas.
Yeah.
And there is nothing good about Hamas. I know the people who founded Hamas. One of them is a good friend of mine, Sheikh Imad Faluji. He started off as an extreme terrorist, but came over to the way of peace. And the Israelis called him the real peacenik. And now it looks as if Sheikh Imad, who is in Gaza, he is saying there is no future for him there. And now he's hoping to move to Turkey.
If we are thinking of the numbers here on the ground, it has been stated when the invasion happened on the 7th of October, it wasn't just Hamas. There were a large number of the Palestinians there that were volunteers. And it's been calculated that 70% of the Palestinians support Hamas. Now, I say support, let's put that in inverted commas, have been brainwashed by Hamas. Are those figures correct?
Yes, they are, sadly, because the Palestinian people think that these radicals are the only ones who are actually fighting for them. I used to be involved very much in the days of Arafat and Ariel Sharon. I used to take messages back and forward between the two of them all the time. And we had big treaties, peace treaties we worked on. And so there was real hope. I had a phone call after this all happened from the former CEO of a great Jerusalem man, Teddy Kollek. He was mayor of Jerusalem for many years. And he said to me, Andrew, we've got all these hostages there. They've got to get you over. You're the only one who can work with these people. I said, I know, but they won't get me over. And the problem is with my health as it is today, I do actually need certain facilities just to survive. The days when I could walk around even hobbling are over. But I'm still able to travel the world from Australia in the south to the Faroe Islands in the Arctic. So I'm still able to work, and I'm still able to talk to you, Rodney, and all your followers. And so even though things are difficult and terrible, we never give in. We will move forward. We will find a solution, but it's going to be longer and harder than we ever imagined it would be.
Are you personally in favor of the two-state solution?
No, absolutely not.
Why?
Because it's basically putting a terrorist nation in the midst of the promised land, the land of Canaan. And I don't think the two will ever really mix. You know, even the Bible, Gaza or Azar, is the place where the terrorists hang out. and they still do. If you can take them all out, and that's what Netanyahu implied he was able to do, but he can't do it. And we need to therefore realize we've got to find another way.
I watched a part of the regular BBC programme that's been going out for donkey's years, where they go around the country and get the local inhabitants to have a forum and a chat to politicians. And they were discussing in Liverpool last night this very situation. And Melanie Phillips was on the panel. And Melanie actually lives in Jerusalem, very close. Although she's a journalist. Sorry, say again.
She has edited some of my books. She's a good friend.
She was up against it last night, big time. Now, to be fair,
I'm sure she was.
You've got to remember, because I only came in halfway through the evening, and I saw the audience were a bit chosen, as the BBC do choose, and it was more than populated by young people. Now, Gen Z have come in for a lot of criticism lately, and bless them, I can understand why, having seen that programme. They were very vocal, without understanding, and they were pinning Melanie against the wall. But having said that, she exploded, and actually she was allowed to give a good long speech about the real situation. And she started off by saying, look, to the young people mainly, you don't know what you're talking about. I lived there. You only pick up various things, and we know where they pick it up from: universities, the elite school that seems to be swaying everybody in a very left direction.
Yeah, sadly.
And even though she silenced them, so angry she was, but it was maybe righteous indignation. She silenced the whole lot of them by revealing the truth of what really goes on and what happens to the kidnapped people. And she really made a deep impression on the whole meeting in the centre of Liverpool. Well done, her.
Well, Melanie Phillips is not only a good friend of mine, she is a practicing religious Jew. She is a fine academic, and what she says is out of experience. She's been there, she's seen it, she's done it. She will even go to Liverpool and talk to their people. And I personally will go to Liverpool any day I can. I think it's a beautiful, wonderful city. But it is a disenchanted city. It's a city for all of those who don't fit in.
Yeah. Now, the other person that you've known for many years, Archbishop Welby, he's come in for a lot of criticism. And from what I heard last week, I'm not surprised. He was almost celebrating Ramadan and encouraging people rather than appearing in the House of Lords and speaking much of the time nonsense. What's happened to him? He's changed.
To be honest, it's not just the Archbishop, it's the whole of the Anglican Church in England, not the Anglican Church abroad. He would have huge problems with the majority of the Anglican Church, which is actually in the continent of Africa. But I really find it difficult to even see myself as a real Anglican these days. I'm far more aligned to the supernatural, glorious ministry of places like Bethel Reading, the School of Supernatural Ministry. That is really my spiritual home now.
The unfortunate thing is, of course, going back to the Archbishop, he takes a lot of people with him. He's lost half his congregation in 10 years. It's cut in half. The Anglican Church worldwide, no, it's thriving, especially in Africa. Now, you'd think a simple thing like that would wake the local Anglicans up. Oh, have we got it right? Clearly not.
Clearly not. But where you have got living churches, such as places like Holy Trinity Brompton, there you see a real mass of power. But it's all very, very difficult. And I see myself as somebody who's seeking to work in the kingdom, for the kingdom. And my line has always been, I take risks, not excuses. And that's what I'm doing.
Well, it's a good job we're not in charge ourselves, Andrew, because like the politicians in many lands, it's just a mess. The truth does not get out there. And analysing it, and we've said this on several programmes, for millennium, we've known that we are body, mind, and spirit. The body is catered for, the mind is catered for. Everybody forgets the most important thing, the spirit. And it's no wonder we're in a mess.
Well, people like me are moving over towards just the spirit way. But as they say, all spirit and no word, you blow up. All word and no spirit, you dry up. So we need both. We radically need both. We need a ministry of word and spirit. The Bible is a foundation of all we do. But we can only do it if we are empowered by the Holy Spirit, who is like the electricity which keeps us going.
Are you really saying that we've got to sort ourselves out first before we sort out Gaza?
I think Gaza is so serious we can't let it go, but I think until we sort ourselves out, we won't even be able to sort out Gaza.
There are finally, Andrew, some good people in all this doing their best, usually behind the scenes. And you see that.
Yes, all the time.
Are the goodies going to win in the end?
They always do. And especially as we look at the state of Gaza and the whole problems that Samson went through, it will be the same situation. But we will get there.
Andrew, thank you so much. We will see you next week.
Okay, my dear Rodney, and everybody, bye-bye. God bless.